Alright guys, today we're going to make peanut stew with boiled plantains, or as they call it in French, sauce d'arachide avec des plantains faits à vapeur. Of course, you're going to make sure that you clean your chicken first and add that to a pot. This is the plastic the peanut came in from the market. We threw that entire thing inside that bowl and added water so that it can make it less thick to thin it out. I'm going to make sure that it's a bit diluted. So add water and stir it a bit gently so that it looks like this liquid form. So stir it. And as your chicken is cooking, you will add that liquid peanut form inside the pot. This is the plantain, so pretty much you just add water to a pot and you add a strainer on top of the pot and you put your plantains on it, and that's how you'll cook it. This will enable the plantain not to be like extremely mushy. Your ingredients. So you're going to add garlic, bell pepper, and parsley. We're going to grind that up just like you see right here. So just mash it, mash it, mash it. Bam. This is the chicken with that with that peanut that we added water in. That's it right here. There we go. So that's what it should be looking like. We're also going to add tomato paste. Of course, we'll add a bit of water to that tomato paste to also thin it out, and then we'll add it to that pot. There you go. The entire process, should take about like 30 to 40 minutes for it to cook. It could take less, but worst case scenario should be maybe 40 minutes. There you go. Oh, we also use two chicken. There we go. So two chicken. You see that? And as time progresses, we're going to add water. We also use 3 tomato. We'll add that inside the pot. This was the initial green bell pepper, garlic, and parsley that we mashed up that we'll add into the pot. We also added that tomato paste inside the pot. And then we'll add 3 tomato fruits and 2 onions. Once the onions and the tomato become soft, we're going to take those out and mash them up. As you can see, you'll be adding water throughout your cooking so that your stew is not extremely thick. Stir it, be gentle with it because we definitely don't want your chicken to just like be all over the place. This is dry shrimp that we'll add in. This will give it flavor and a nice little smell. There we go. And this is also black pepper. This is not mandatory. It's up to you. But hey, I like black pepper. There we go. Also added a bit of water. Stir it. Be gentle. Remember that we don't want your chicken to just spread all over the sauce. So stir it gently. This is something that we call Djansang in Cameroon. In Ivory Coast they call it akpi. So you're going to grind a bit of those Djansang and add it back to your sauce and stir it. There we go. Stir that up, baby. Stir it. And these were the onions. So they're a bit soft. So take it out. The tomato as well. And we're going to grind them up separately until it turns into like a puree form like the one you're seeing right here. So mash it up, be careful. We don't want you to mash up your fingers. So there we go. You see that? That's what your tomato should be looking like. And then once you're done with that, you'll go throw it inside the pot. There we go. You see, it looks like a puree. Voila. Bam. Now add it to your pot. There you go. Also take out your onions and you're going to repeat the same process. You're going to mash it up until it starts looking like a puree, and then we'll add it back inside the pot. By the way, the plantains do not really take that long to cook. It should take like maybe 10 minutes. And then you'll just turn off your stove and your plantains are ready. You remove the skin and you serve it with your stew. So that's the onion. You mash it up, pound that thing, mash it up. Be careful, of course. We don't want anything to happen to your fingers. So mash it up. Bam, 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 bam. There we go. And then add it to your pot. Voila. There we go. So those were the onions that we mashed up. We're adding it to the pot. Then stir it gently, ever so gently. We don't want your chicken to be all over the sauce. We want your chicken to remain intact. By the way, we use two chicken, just in case anybody's wondering. So that's two chicken. Add water, of course. This is so that your stew is not extremely thick. So towards the end, this is what it should start looking like. Voila. Look at that. Oh my God. Then you serve it with rice and plantains, or you can just eat it with plantain or just with rice, or you can also eat it with sweet potatoes. Bon appetit.